but we got them. This week is a regular week for parish. Monday is the Spanish Rosary, Tuesday, high school youth group, Wednesday, RCI and Spanish ministry practice, Thursday's Bible study, English class, and John the 13th meeting, and Friday, middle school youth group. Things get busy this Saturday. At 9 in the morning until noon, we have a retreat day. From 9 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon, we'll have our parish work day. We have to paint the religious education rooms. We need to fix the fence in the pavilion, and we have a lot of garbage to be thrown away. In 2 weeks, we will begin registering all the children of our parish for religious education. And not long ago, our parish did a collection for a high school youth group. We raised enough money to send 12 of our youth on a 3-day retreat. Then they went to they would like to share their experience and to thank you. Please be seated for just a few more minutes for them, and if they'll come up. And one more thing, Tuesday and Wednesday, we will have communion service and adoration after both communion services. Thank you.
Good morning. Hi again. Other than doing the 8 a.m. lecturing, I'm also the Director of Youth Ministry here at Holy Cross. Whenever I accepted this position a few months ago, I was tasked with creating a youth group specifically for our high schoolers. And with the help of Nick Sisto over there, we had a rough start, but we've been able to get a consistent number of 12 to 15 teens every week on Tuesdays. It's been a wonderful experience, and these kids teach me more than I could ever teach them, truly. I'd first like to say thank you to every parent here, even visitors. Thank you for bringing your children to Mass every Sunday, or whenever you can. I know it gets busy. Thank you to this parish for believing in me, and for Nick and all these kids. We wouldn't be here without you. Thank you so much for believing in us and believing in the future of the faith. We wouldn't have been able to go to the conference if it wasn't for your belief in us and for donating. I'd now like to call up a young man who'll give his testimony about his experience on the trip. And just to let you know that there is still a future about this faith. Thank you so much once again. Amen.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Luis Martinez. I'm 16 years old. I'm going to my senior year of high school this year. Oops. So, I'd like to start off by thanking everybody for the generous donations that made this trip possible. It was really such a great experience and a blessing to be able to go. So, to start off, I'd like to tell you about how the first day went. So we got here at 9, and we got in the van, and we headed over there. It took 5 hours. And when we got there, everybody was super amazed by the convention center. It was really beautiful. It was enormous too, and there was a bunch of people when we walked in. They had food for us, and we got to walk around for an hour and a half. And then we walked into the main room, and we saw a big band on stage, and there was lights everywhere. Everybody was jumping up and down. It was super exciting to see. But me and my friend, we got there a little late, so we had to stay off to the side because we couldn't really push through the whole group. There was a lot of people. But then the mass started when the band was done playing, and it was late when they started, so we didn't have that much time. So then Serena surprised us by saying that let's leave a little early so we can go ahead to an amusement park that was not too far away. It was super amazing too, because they had a big mountain that they displayed fireworks and a light show on. It was super cool to see. After that, we just headed to the hotel, and we got ready for the next day. The next day, we got up like around 8. We got there around like 9, and they had the morning mass. And after that mass, they told us that they were going to be splitting us up between the boys and the girls. The boys would go to lunch first, and the girls would have their session. And then after like an hour and a half, the boys had their session. And it was about how not to only be a man, but to be a man of God. And it was a really beautiful session. A lot of people were crying. We all started singing together. It was really changed. It was really moving for me. It made me think about how I can do better in my relationship with God and with others around me. After that, we had about a 3-hour break. And when we came back, the father started explaining like in depth what adoration was. And so he just started explaining, and then he started the adoration. So as he walked around, everybody started crying. I didn't really understand why everybody was crying. So I just started praying after a couple minutes of that. And as I was looking down, I just started saying everything I was thankful for instead of just asking God for stuff. And then I felt like something did change in me after that, because I just felt very connected with God at that moment. So then I looked over at my friend Luis, who was next to me, and I've known him since forever. He's like my best friend. So it just felt right to put my arm around him. And I just started like praying and telling God how thankful I was to have such a good friend. And I heard him starting crying, and in my head I was like, please don't cry, because I'm gonna start crying. So then he started, and I started crying too. And then I looked over past him, and there was Stephanie, Joe, and Naomi, and they were all crying. But what I thought was really beautiful about it is that we were all holding each other like this on our knees. So I thought it was really beautiful. So it made me start crying more. I just started to think of how lucky I am to have such great people next to me. And as I looked around, our whole group was crying, but we were all like hugging each other like this. So I looked over at Dean. I met him 2 days ago before this, but I mean, the hotel room, I think we got really close. So I just told him how grateful I was to meet him. And then after that, the adoration ended after about 3 hours, and the band started playing again in a couple minutes after. And that was a really great show. And then we got to go home around 11. We went to sleep and got ready for the next mass in the morning. So we left the hotel really early, earlier than last time, like around 7:30. And then we got to the convention center. They had one mass. Then I went to confession. And me and Dean went to the chapel to go confess. Not to go confess, to do what the Father told us. And then they had one final concert after we did all that. And this time, instead of like me and my friend being off to the side, I think we were like the first ones up there, jumping up and down. Everybody was screaming the lyrics. And it was such a beautiful experience. Like, to me, I think it will be like the most beautiful thing I've ever experienced. And I'm so grateful I got to go. So again, thank you all for all the donations that y'all gave that made this trip possible. And to Nick and to Serena. It was really amazing. God bless you all.